Thank you for tuning in to Entertain the Geeky, your source for nerd news.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Jason back at you with more nerd news. So we had I talked about this on the news show from a couple of days ago. We had a big video game release this week in God of War. And even though I've only got to play the first 15 minutes of the game or so, so I'm obviously not the best one to talk to about it, but I have someone here with me that is. Welcome back with me, Mike Capuano.
Hey, everybody.
So, Mike, obviously you picked up the game launch day, I'm assuming.
I did. I had it pre-ordered for months. Well, actually, back when that 2016 E3 trailer came out, I pre-ordered it day of.
Yeah.
I've been waiting a long time, and I had it since that Friday, and put a lot of time into it.
For sure. I guess I'm going to go ahead and say this on the air because it was the nicest thing one of my friends has done for me in a long time. But this guy, because he just could not wait, his pre-order was not going to be at his house.
Got delayed till Monday.
So he went out and he bought the game, and his pre-order finally came. And instead of returning it, he brought it over and gifted it to me, which is super awesome.
It showed up not on Monday because we're recording on Sunday, but
right.
I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait even one extra day. I had to put time into this game. With we're 3 days in now, and I've definitely put over 20 hours into it. Not one Aries yet, by the way, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. There were so many great things about the original God of War stories.
Absolutely.
Looking back on it now, I guess from playing the game and getting your first impression of what this new system and this new world is going to be, how does it stack up to the previous series?
Well, I mean, Kratos is a character now. Before, he was just a vehicle for destruction, which in 2005, when the first game came out, I believe that's kind of what we needed. It was a product of its time. But I think that we as gamers want more now in all of our media. So, they have developed Kratos into someone who actually is more than just the rage that we've known.
Right.
And that's really attractive. It's something that I was drawn to. Is it the best written character? No, but it's nice to see them trying different things with their mascot. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, this is a property that they've worked a long time to make a pretty regular part of the video game world.
Right.
And to finally give, I think, a little development to Kratos, even if because one of the things we enjoy in film and television is good character development, good story. And I think that's what they were going for.
Sure. And I mean, and that's something I think that wasn't really present in all the other games. I mean, there was a story, but it was literally just a kill-a-thon. It was just what god will he kill next on his way to Zeus. And I love all those games. I love some of the reveals, but they're a little pedestrian now. I hate to say that, but but the games are still great. But for their gameplay, They were just beat 'em ups, and that's fine, and I will still go back and play those games. But seeing this game, it looked like something new, but still paying reverence to what came before it.
Yeah.
I have found that this game is still full of those puzzles, which were really heavily present in the first God of War. Not so much in the later games.
I think the PSP ones relied a little more on the puzzle stuff because the hardware was not as capable of putting out a pretty product.
In your three mainline ones, 2 and 3, I think definitely went a little bit more combat.
Yeah, there was puzzles, but they were never as challenging as those first ones.
But your original question was how does it stack up? I mean, I haven't completed the game yet, and it's hard to really rank a game without viewing it in its totality.
Sure,
but I'm going to tell you, I think that when all is said and done, not only is it going to be remembered as the best God of War game, but certainly I think we'll hop up there in a lot of people's top 25 or 10 list. It's excellent. Definitely the best game I've played so far this year. And, coming up after 2017, it's it's right up there with a lot of the games that I played last year.
Right. I mean, here we are, early in 2018, and we talked on the show the last time we had you on about 2017 being like just a banner year for the video game industry, and here we are at the beginning of the new year, and, well, not quite at the beginning of the new year, but still close enough, and we already have something that you're comparing to what was so great about last year.
Right. But mark my words now, if this does not win Game of the Year this year, I will eat the hat that I'm wearing. There's a lot of great games coming out. We talked about Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
But that's going to be for we, the fans of that series. This game is just drawing in people that don't normally play games. Joe Perez's son, it's a friend of Jason.
Joe Perez is one of our customers. Yeah.
Joe Perez's son, Andrew, bought a PS4 just for this game. This is somebody who doesn't normally talk about video games. And so it's appealing to a lot of people,
right?
Both hardcore fans like us and to those casual fans that are just hearing all the great things about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, again, I got my hands on the game here quickly before we recorded, just to kind of feel out the system and how it worked. I went all the way up to the first combat encounter that you get into with what looked like some orcs or goblins.
Draugr.
Okay.
Same thing that's in Skyrim.
Oh, okay. Well, there's an
Basically
interesting,
like the Nordic undead.
Right, yeah, okay. We're going with the Norse mythology. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So, I lost. I got my ass kicked.
You're playing on not the easiest mode, but what Santa Monica, the game studio, refers to as balanced. It's the balanced experience.
Yeah.
You can't see me air quoting right now. But it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
And I'll tell you right away, my first impression is just visually, it is one of the most impressive games I've ever seen.
Likewise.
It might be the most impressive game.
And neither one of us actually are PS4 Pro owners yet.
No.
I certainly intend to get one at some point, but even without that, the game just looks amazing. Certainly the best console game that I've ever played.
Yeah, it might be up there.
I mean, last year, Horizon Zero Dawn, I thought was it.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And this has even surpassed that. And
yeah.
That's always been something I think that Santa Monica's been good at. With every God of War release, they up that. Yeah, they up their game.
Yeah, because God of War 3, the first PS4 one, I mean, man, that just blew my mind, right? That was visually so far ahead of anything at its time.
Right, and it still looks great. Nothing looks as good as this yet. We'll see if they can push the hardware even further, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
So you played the first 15 minutes. I played a little longer. What did you think?
I mean, it's great. I can't. Honestly, we're getting ready to go and do some tabletop role playing after this, and I kind of wish we weren't, because I kind of want to play God of War. I love all you guys. So you guys are my friends.
You've addressed something that I wanted to bring up, and so often, I play games, and I just we'll play them when I have time.
Right.
This is one of those rare games that when I'm playing it, I'm completely immersed. When I'm not playing it, I wish I was playing it.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm glad I'm recording the show right now, but I wish I was home playing it right now. I want to sink my teeth further and further into it. I have not gotten bored yet. Nothing has gotten stale. And like you, I kind of wish there wasn't gaming tonight, because I could get a good probably 10 more hours in on this game.
Yeah.
With breaks in between for my health, of course.
Well, I appreciate you telling our listeners out there the safety. Don't play games for 10 hours straight. That's no good.
No, it's good for your progress, but maybe not your life progress.
But so I guess for me, it definitely is visually ahead of anything we've seen up to this point, and maybe for a while to come. I mean, I would say it's going to be a hard one to top, right? There's some big releases coming out that look like they're going to push the graphical boundaries of this hardware. Kingdom Hearts 3, I think, is a good example, and it's cartoony in the way it's designed, but within that cartoony thing, when you're looking at Woody and Buzz from Toy Story, you would swear you're watching Toy Story.
It looks like Toy Story 4, right?
Right. You would swear that you're watching a movie. And the Final Fantasy VII remake, which I don't know if it's going to come out this year, or we're going to have to wait until 2019.
2020.
But they are promising announcements at E3. They have confirmed that it will be present at this year's E3.
The announcement will be that we're announcing that we will be announcing the release date in 2019.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I have a bit more time into the game than you.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Honestly, for me, I guess you mentioned, that there are, when we were sitting kind of playing, that there are different items and different weaponry that you can equip. So I guess one of my first big questions is, have you found the Chaos Blades yet?
So, no.
Are the Chaos Blades in the game, as far as you know?
So, I think they are.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but there's something that happens very, very early on, and they kind of reveal that Kratos might have maybe a secret stash or something.
Of his old stuff?
And
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get to go in there, but in a moment of peril, he has to hide his son Atreus in there, and you want to go in there so bad because you're like, there's something.
There's something in there.
Yeah. And you saw how the game opens, and there's this brief callback to Blades of Chaos.
I didn't even pick up on it right away, but you did. Yeah.
But you don't show a loaded gun if you don't intend to fire it, right?
Right.
And I'm feeling that there's something that's going to occur in this game, and that gun's going to get fired. And I can't wait to see if I'm right.
Right. So I guess then my question becomes, right? You've had obviously much more hands-on time with the combat system. How would using the Chaos Blades within the new combat system? How do you feel that would change how you fight within the game?
So,
because if they function as they did before with the throw them out and then come back,
you're hitting me here with the conjecture. What? How do I think?
Right.
So, I mean, frankly, with the Leviathan axe, you already have your ranged combat, right?
You do.
So, I mean, you got to see that where you throw it out. So, I imagine if you're going to have them, it's going to work kind of similarly. You're still going to have your reticle that you're going to aim with, and that's where your blades would go. But I don't know. I mean, I hope that they are in the game, and I mean, based off of everything I've seen so far, if they are, I'm sure that it's really, really smooth. The combat in this game is just glorious. I'm a Dark Souls junkie.
Sure.
So in my
You're
combat,
a masochist. It's understandable.
I love the responsiveness in my combat. I like that. The only word to describe it is that chunkiness. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Like when you throw that axe, you feel it when it goes, into the chest or the head of an enemy.
Right.
And then also when you can recall it, which is the most satisfying thing I think I've ever experienced in a video game.
You ever wanted to play Thor? Man, here you go.
Man, it's just it starts off, very basic, with the dodging, and you have your shield that you can do things. You have your axe, and then you can also fight barefisted.
Right, you have your just like in old God of War games, you still have your quick attack and your heavy attack buttons,
But as you play on, you'll discover, that you can access various skill trees, which every single skill not only adds to what Kratos can do, but also starts to pair up with the other things. Everything serves a purpose, and it all kind of synergizes into this perfect whirlwind of destruction, which is the thing that we loved about the original God of Wars.
Yeah.
But it's so much more refined, and it's a lot less button mashy. I thought, honestly, playing God of War for the first time, I button mashed my way through that game.
Right, their combos are square, triangle, triangle.
This is not a game that really early on, especially that is going to be forgiving enough to allow you to do that. As you get better, I don't know if the game has just gotten more forgiving for me, or if I've just gotten better. And I think it's probably maybe a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Because you do get equipment that levels up and your stats go up, which I didn't know was in the game. I kind of avoided things. I did not know that I was going to be able to
RPG elements.
Yes, to be able to get this piece of equipment. And there's a lot of equipment that you can both find, forge, and then upgrade. You get the equipment, you can then upgrade that so it goes up a certain level. You can add items into it. You can add runes to your equipment, level those up as well. You get different abilities.
I'm assuming they're Nordic runes.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But there's just so much to the system that I didn't know was there. It's got a lot of depth to it. And I think that it's going to really warrant additional playthroughs, because right now I kind of have honed in on a play style that I'm really comfortable with.
Right.
But boy, I can see doing some crazy things with combining various equipment and skills. And something I told you, and I want to tell the listeners, do not neglect Atreus.
Yeah.
He has his own skill tree, and
apparently he's awesome. Yeah,
it is super, super beneficial to you to upgrade him. He is I was going to call him an escort character, but that's not true. You're not escorting them. You're journeying side by side.
Right. He's a
and
warrior.
Oftentimes he's taking the charge. He's got that youthful nature that has him just leading the charge, and you're just kind of following behind in his wake. And you said it, man. Like, it's almost like Atreus is the main character, and Kratos is just guiding him. I've already heard, mild spoilers here, I've already heard this is not the last game with Kratos, but if they're going to do a trilogy, I could honestly see them killing Kratos off in the next game, and the final game you're playing as gentle Atreus, who maybe is being groomed as that next God of War.
Right.
This is I have no knowledge. This is just my way of thinking, but
we
got a trilogy on our hands for sure.
Well, right, but also you have to think about the fact that if indeed the seed that born Atreus is Kratos's, well, then Atreus is a god.
Right.
Kratos is the son of Zeus.
Where I'm at in the game, we don't even know the history of Atreus' mother. Like, it's
obviously some kind of
mystery. I know her name. I don't think it's her name's Faye, but not F-E-Y, just F-A-Y-E. So, I was like, oh, if it was F-E-Y, maybe there's something going on there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I have no idea. If there's something to her for sure, and 20 plus hours in, I still don't know.
Okay.
But man, it's the mystery is just driving me to keep playing that game, and like everything just comes together perfectly in the game, and it does these revealing moments. It's just like slow reveal of the world that just makes me want to keep going on, and it's got like the Metroidvania backtracking to it.
Oh, sure.
That's never frustrating or boring. It's always just exciting that you'll get that new item, go back to this area, and unlock this new thing, just to find there's another thing that you have to come back to later. And and some people will say that they're manufacturing length in the game, but to me it's just like, oh man, I can't wait to see what's behind that locked corridor. You know, it's
well, and that's the hard thing, right? As long as you make the reward for all of that work worthwhile, then I don't have any problem walking for 20 hours just looking for a single thing to open a door.
Right. And nothing's missable, Like in previous God of War games, you could miss chests. Now, in the first game, that was the most punishing because if you missed like a Gorgon eye,
or a
you were done.
Yeah.
In the latter games, they would have more chests. So like, if you missed one, that would contain it, or if you'd gotten them all, they would just have more experience orbs, red orbs.
Right.
But in this, there's nothing missable. You can come back later on in the game. Now, I've been cut off from certain parts where I'm at, but I just got an ability that's going to let me go back, I think, to an area that I've wanted to get back to for a while, and I'm really excited because within that area there was a ton of stuff that I couldn't mess with yet.
Right.
Now I can.
So yeah, I don't feel like, I agree with you. I don't feel like that's manufacturing length in the game. I feel like that's just how you build an open world. Right? And you have to have areas, at least initially, that you can go to, sure, but you're going to get either two things is going to happen. You're not going to have the specific thing that you need to get into that area, or you're going to run into an enemy that's way beyond your power level, and you're going to get your ass handed to you, and you're not going to be able to go that way anyway.
So, what's interesting is that you talk about the enemies handing their ass to you. That happened to me at one point, and I was like, I'm going to have to come back. I went back and still was getting my ass handed to me. But then I realized that, like, the enemies aren't scaling, really. I mean, they were still going to be tough. I had gotten new equipment. This particular situation, which was sort of like a challenge room. It's open and everything, but you initiate it. It's not just, something that you find along the way. You have to go and initiate this challenge. And I died several times. And then I realized that I had to adjust my playstyle. And this is what made me realize Atreus is what you need. I was able to use him to distract the enemies, dodge around them, go and fight them, and like the perfect synergy of combat with utilizing these two characters. All of a sudden I realized, no, there's not a single thing in this game that I could go up against that I wouldn't be able to beat. I just had to get better.
Right.
And that's the Dark Souls mentality in me.
Sure,
It's like, get good.
Get good.
But I've yet to run into anything that I was like, no, this is going to be a late game thing. There was something very early on, I'm not going to spoil, that I was convinced there's no way I'm supposed to be here yet. But I managed to get through the whole thing, and it's super cool. Again,
Right
don't want to spoil it for you. But
yeah, and there's the trailers have shown us this world has the mythical, kind of Norse thing going on. There's dragons, there's magic, there's these kinds of things. So one can insinuate that at some point this is something you have to deal with in the game, right?
You mentioned dragons. It's pretty cool.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you've seen this in the trailers. We know this is the kind of game they're bringing to us. But I guess to kind of bring it all to a close, how does it incorporate the Norse mythology as well as it incorporated the Greek mythology into Kratos' story, being as how he is a Greek god?
Not only does it, but it does it infinitely better.
Okay.
The original God of War trilogy took a lot of liberties with the mythology.
Oh, sure.
And so will this.
Right. It has to, yeah.
But again, it comes down to Atreus. This kid was obviously raised by his mother to have an appreciation for the world that he lives in, and so he's able to translate a lot of runes. He has a lot of knowledge of the magic in the world, and it's almost like he's teaching not only Kratos but us,
the audience. Yeah.
I'm a much bigger fan. I know you said you were too of Norse mythology, and they're nailing that feel really, really well. There's some things I would love to talk about with you, but I don't want to spoil it for you or the listeners.
Sure.
I can't wait to see, once this game's been out for a good 2 weeks, what everybody has to say.
Right.
Right now, it's holding a 95 on Metacritic, and I know that's not the be-all, end-all, but that's impressive for a game that's just come out to have this almost universal appeal. So they've done good. They've done good, Jason.
Well, Santa Monica, congrats on your huge successful release, I guess.
Yeah, congrats to Santa Monica, and especially to Cory Barlog. He was the director of God of War 2, and he left halfway through 3 for personal reasons. He came back with a vengeance, and this guy is someone to keep your eye on for what he's going to do next. I don't know if it'll be God of War, but I would love to see him do a new property. The guy's a genius.
New IP, for sure. So I guess in the grand tradition of reviewing games that you see on every website and every video.
You're going to ask me for a score, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to ask you for a score. I'm going to ask you: is this something that you feel is a must play game?
It's a must. It's a must play. It's a must buy. No matter what, even if you're just a Call of Duty junkie, you will find value in this game. This game, I think it will go down as being just universally acclaimed by all gamers. There's nothing really to knock it for.
Right.
I mean, is it perfect? I don't think hardly any games are perfect, and the games that I hold as perfect games aren't really perfect. They're just perfect in my heart.
Right.
And you know what? Let me beat this one, and I'm pretty sure in a follow-up, I will hold this as a game that I consider to be perfect.
All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the end, guys. I want to say thanks to Mike for coming on. And
thank you for having me again.
And again, for bringing me a copy of God of War to play.
Well, I can't wait to see what you think of it.
We'll talk about it. We'll have a follow-up once we're both done with the game, and we'll give an overall kind of thing that we'll do. How about that?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So if you're digging what we're putting down out there, guys, do me a favor and head on over to entertainthegeeky.com. I mean, we got all the blog posts there. We got the shows, Chris and Roger's ETG podcast, My Nerd News. Matt and Jeff are over there with the Board Game Bros. They're brothers. They play board games. They talk about board games.
Astute.
Yeah. If you're listening and you're local, we're going to be out at Miniature Market on May the 20th. It's a Sunday for some games. We'll have some food. We got all kinds of stuff going down there that day. So if you're a gamer, you're local, and you want to meet us and get a chance to play some games with us, come on out to Miniature Market out there at Manchester and 270 on the 20th of May. Also, early June, we are going to be launching the Kickstarter for Conniving Cooks. We're very excited about this game. We're very excited to bring our ideas here at EG Games out to you, the listeners. So keep an eye out for that. We'll have probably a demo day for that on the day we launch as well. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/entertainmentgeeky. If Twitter is more your social media speed, we're there as well at entertaingeeky. And if you want to chat with me, let me know what you think, or just suggest topics that you'd like to hear us talk about in the future. Shoot me an email at etgnerdnews@gmail.com. Thanks again to Mike.
Thank you.
And stay geeky out there, everyone.